My dad, Harjinder Singh, is the teacher. He's the one who taught me. And most people who know Gatka in Birmingham, it's because of my dad. I remember one of the videos that went viral was I was wearing Converse shoes and I did Gatka in them. And then all of a sudden this video was going around that, oh, check this woman out doing martial arts in Converse. You're not living a true life if you're not loving the way you should be. You're not living a true life if you're doing something against what your heart is telling you to do or your mind is telling you to do. By hating people, where are you going? By loving people, you're gonna go far.
Thank you for joining the podcast. To begin with, let's just start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so so my full name is Sanmukh and my stage name is Combat Kaur, which we can talk about later. And I'm currently living in Canada. But I am born and bred in the UK and I'm 28 years old.
Is there any particular reason you moved different countries?
For the past 3 or 4 years, my uncle, so my mum Maji, would say to my mom, well, say to us and my mom and everybody to move to Canada because they live here. So my nanny G is here, my mom's two brothers are here, quite a lot of my family are here. And for years they were saying, you guys should move. And because of me, we wouldn't move because I didn't want to move out of UK. But I came on holiday here about 2 years ago, and just before I moved. So I moved here last year, August, and a few months before that, when I came on holiday here, my mama just kind of suggested it again. It was like, oh, I don't get it. Why you guys don't just come on a working visa? Just see, experience it. And I think I was at that point in my life where I was like, you know what? Yeah, why don't we? So me and my brother, we decided to come here, and that's it. We picked up and left, and we love it here now. Probably me more.
What do you love about Canada more than UK?
It's how big the country is. Like when you look at UK and Canada now, it's like that is so tiny. It's so cramped compared to here. I really like how spaced out it is here. I love the weather here. It's summer here now, and it actually is summer. Whereas when it's summer in England, it's not always summer. We might get rain on the odd day, but even then, it's not freezing cold. I feel that temperature just changes in England and it doesn't stay the way it should, sort of thing. Like here, the temperature is always similar every day, and it's been hot since May now. We've had great weather. Every day it's like between 20 to 30.
No, you're right. I actually visited Canada last summer, and we just drove there and saw that the roads were like really big. So I was
Yeah,
like amazed to see that.
I think and my career is going very well here. And that was one of the main reasons as well. As soon as I started working and seeing how much money I make here compared to the UK, I was like, oh yeah, I'm staying. So yeah,
There we
I
go.
like the life
Uh,
here. It's good. It's good.
Speaking about Combat Car, how did you get that name?
So actually, I was given it by a friend, and I was just going through a rough time like a few years back, like from I think it was 2018, and I was in Australia around that time actually with my cousin as well, and I have family in Australia too, and one of my friends suggested that why don't you do something, because like to do something related to your martial arts, which is Gatka, a weapon-based martial art, and because what used to happen around then, Facebook was big, and my videos used to go viral on Facebook. Even I remember one of the videos that went viral was so I was wearing Converse shoes, and I did Gatka in them, and then all of a sudden this video was going around that, oh, check this woman out doing martial arts in Converse, Converse girl, and all this, and I was like, it was really nice to get that value back then as well. And then like my friend used to see all these videos going viral of me, and he said to me, why don't you open a page up and show your talent? And I was like, no. And when you feel down in life, you don't want to do things, you don't want to go to the gym, you don't want to do positive things for yourself, it gets to that point. Even my sister, she's from Australia, even she was saying to me, like, you know, do it. He's right in what he's saying. You should open a page. And I was like, I don't know. And whilst I was doing my I don't know, I'll see, my friend already had made a page for me, and he basically named me Combat Kaur. He gave me the username and password, and he just gave it to me, and he was like, here you go, no excuses, start uploading stuff. And I was like, you know what, fine. I was like, I didn't want to go through the process of like making up a page, making up a name, blah blah, but he did it all for me, and that was really good, because this is how we should be uplifting each other, but we don't. And then that's it. Ever since, so from 2018, I'd say like end of 2018, and then I just became Combat Kaur, and it's not stopped since.
And you've been doing martial arts since childhood, right? How did you get into that?
So I started when I was 5 years old. I actually got into it because
Wow.
my dad, Harjinder Singh, is the teacher. He's the one who taught me, and he's taught many people in England, many people in Birmingham, actually. Most people who know Gatka in Birmingham is because of my dad, you know.
Oh wow.
So I'm very proud of him. I would say he's a walking machine, because he literally has learned so many martial arts, and I'm so lucky to have someone like that. And that's how me and my brother have become this way, and that's why we're good at what we do, because of my dad. And even though my dad's a teacher, my mom she is the one who actually pushed me into going. She used to say to my dad, take her with you. And when my dad used to take me, I used to be very naughty, and I used to want to just run around in the where they used to practice in the hall. And my dad was like, I can't. And then my mom had to come with me. So my mom started to do Gatka with me.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I was like,
This
fine.
is awesome.
Yeah, and it was like, so there's a thing called pentra in Gatka, so it's footwork. And my mom used to
Okay.
do that with me. And then I used to be more behaved, because I have my mom, and my mom's doing it with me. Whereas obviously my dad's not really going to do it with me, because he has to teach the class too. So it was only this much
Right.
time he had to spend with me at the class, and then he'd have to go around to the other students, of course. But my mom obviously would learn with me, so she did. And then until like probably like a year later or something, maybe, then she left me to it, because then I started getting into it by myself, doing it with my cousins and everything.
What is Gatka to begin with? Like what I know it's like a Sikh martial arts, right?
Yeah, Gatka is a Sikh martial art. It's a martial art that was used back in the days, around the Mughal times, and it's been continued on since. Gatka doesn't have to be used with just weapons, or it can be without weapons too. You can learn a lot with the weapons and without. I think people think that Gatka is just weapon based. I don't believe that. I believe it's both. I believe you can use weapons. You can also learn without weapons too.
From all these years, you've been doing Sikh martial arts, Gatka. What is that you've learned from it?
So definitely, it's taught me confidence. Because the better I got at it, the more confident I was out there. And just training, keeping fit, it keeps you fit for sure. It's a lot of cardio, depending on how you do it, of course. But for me, yeah, for sure, it keeps you fit. It keeps you a bit, keeps you being active, and I think that's really important in this day and age, to be active, to be fit. Um, Too many people are
Right.
supporting people who are putting on weight, and they're being okay with it. And now that's not me being rude to anyone who is overweight or has weight, but it is unhealthy. Like, you cannot be, because whatever I say here is very raw, and it's just my opinion, and we should be supporting those unhealthy people to get healthy. I think that's how it should be working out there. But that's just my opinion anyway. So
What are the different forms or formats uh like you get to learn and how advanced it gets?
so I feel like you can never stop learning. There's something you can learn. There's a few things that I still need to be learning, even though I do teach. I used to teach more back in England, but now here, like, not so much. I am thinking about doing classes here in Canada, but I haven't got around to it, because I just wanted to settle myself first before doing anything. But advance it's an ongoing thing, because there's so many weapons, so much unarmed combat you can learn. Like there's shastra like lathiyan, marathiyan, sotiyan, kripana. There's just so many that you can learn. So there's not really an end to it. You can always be better, I think, and that can be related to our lifestyles. We can always be better as well, and this is why um, I named this talk "Love versus Hate," because what I want to really get down to is um, we just, as people, as a sangat, as a group, anyone community, outside community, we need to learn to be more loving, because without love, this world doesn't go around. It can't work. And I think we don't learn that. We think we know that, and we might know that, but we don't apply it. So for sure, like I'd say, um, not with just my martial arts, my Gatka, but like in general life as well, going through life, I learned stuff like that. How we should be as people, whether we're sick, whether we're or not sick, it doesn't matter. Love is such a big thing we should be spreading around. But if you are a Sikh and you are a good Sikh, or you wear the star, yes, you should be an example to the world. You should be more of an example. People should be looking at us and like, oh, that's a Singh, or that's a Singhani. Oh, I can talk to them. But people these days look at us and be like, oh, they might judge us. And that is so bad, because we shouldn't be giving that vibe off, and we do, unfortunately. And that's something we need to change as a community before going to change anything else. Your personality, you need to change to become a better human, to become a more loving person towards friends, family, even strangers on the street. Like me, when I'm out there, I don't look at, oh, who it is. I just look at, oh, this is a human, this is a person, and I'm going to smile at them. There's nothing wrong in that. We walk past each other and thinking that, oh, it's okay. We right? Just egotistically walk past. I'm sorry, but that's not going to get you anywhere. And maybe I do it too. I'm not trying to say everyone. Yeah, but we do it, and we need to be more. We need to think about it more.
Thoughtful of that.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you're right. I think like now, like I would say people, like we all are too engraved and too involved into like, oh, okay, pointing out fingers to other people without realizing that if you point like one finger to other people, like they're like what, three fingers pointing out to you. So it's not gonna get you anywhere.
Yeah, it's not. And I just feel like, then people might say, well, if you're having a rough time, it's hard for you to kind of spread that positive vibe, because you're feeling bad, you're feeling a negative energy. But I genuinely believe that you can be happy all the time, or if not all the time, most of the time you can be. And that's all about your thought process. So if you're already thinking
Mm-hmm.
negatively, if you're already thinking in a bad way, oh, this world is bad, or this I never get good friends, or oh my god, my job is just always so stressful, that's exactly what's going to happen to you. There's no way it's going to change. Maybe there's a 1%, 2% chance that it will change, but it won't if you keep thinking negatively. If you think positive things will happen for you, to
Happen to
you.
you.
And I'm saying that because it's happened with me. I'm literally living the life I've always wanted, and that didn't just come. I've thought about it, I've wanted it, and then I let it go and I let it be, and then God, with God's blessings, so good prasad, with God's grace, it happens. And I think it's all linked to being that good person, being the loving person, being a genuine person from the bottom of your heart, not trying to show off, not trying to be jealous of people. And okay, you can be jealous of people in a healthy way, but you don't need to make it into a negative thing. You can be jealous in a sense of, oh man, she's got such a, I don't know, good life, for example, or her husband and her seem so loving, I don't know, something like that. But don't turn it into a negative thing by thinking, oh my
Yeah.
god, I hope it breaks up, or I hope she becomes poor. And and then that's what we become like. And it's terrible, because that's not the thinking we need to have. we need to make the change somewhere, and that's one of my aims. Like with Combat Kaur as well, it all started with martial arts. Being physically strong and being combating physical health. So like even me, like as soon as I feel like my figure is like out of hand or getting out of hand slightly, and I'm at the gym, I try to do something always. I try and be active. However, I mean, I can't say for the future, but for now, yes, for sure, I'm like that. But then I slowly turned my page into not just about physical health, but also mental health, because it's connected. If you can look after your mental health, you can get good physical health. If you can look after your physical health, you can get good mental health.
It's gonna be mental health.
And
It's all connected.
yeah, for sure.
That's actually good. Like martial arts, it doesn't only give you the skill to be physically fit or to do different. It's not a different. I mean, let me just word it in a proper way. So Gatka, it's not just a skill set you have. It's a
It's a mindset too.
yeah. It helps you shift your mindset. It helps you become that person that you want to be, that calm personality that you want to be.
I do have obviously my fiery personality too, so I don't want people to think, oh, she's just got it under control. No, I can be a fiery person. Ask my mom, ask my brother, ask my friends or family, right? But there's a time and place for it. Like, I am not perfect. We are not perfect. But if we be fiery or we are fiery at the wrong time, we got to acknowledge that. We need to know when we're doing it. We need to know that, okay, you know what? That is my weakness. For example, we should be acknowledging when we are going wrong so that we can make it better. What we do is we try and ignore it, and that's it. You can't do that.
Mm,
You're not living a true life if you're not being the human you're supposed to be. You're not living a true life if you're not loving the way you should be. You're not living a true life if you're doing something against what your heart is telling you to do or your mind is telling you to do. And that's in a positive way. So if your mind is saying, man, just say hi to this person, or go and check on your nan, you haven't in the days because you've had an argument with her, or anything like that, or stand your ground in this position because they are being racist, for example, and you're not taking any action, then are you really true to yourself? Forget everyone else. You're not true to
yeah,
yourself. What kind of life is that?
you're right.
You're living a lie. And it's sad that I think so many people in this world are living a lie because they show they are something and are something else. They can't even get the basics right. And honestly, my page, like when I aim to empower and I aim to encourage, I aim to spread love, and I hope that it does help people, and I know it does, and I hope it just carries on like that. Because I just want people to be I just want them to be more positive. I want them to be more loving, and I want them to be more empowering, especially our women, obviously.
That's where I was gonna go next. Is why people are getting away from Gatka these days that as opposed to they were in back in the days.
So to be honest, I think first of all, it's um, like in England, it's very different to Canada. Obviously, probably because there's more people in Canada for sure. And it was lovely to see so many women do Gatka here. In England, not so much. I think I am the ones who have done it the longest there, probably. I've been doing it for my maths ain't good, but if I started at 5 and I'm 28 and I still, enjoy doing it, then, that's a long time. Yeah. Um, but I think people who leave sometimes is just genuinely because they probably get away from Sikhi, first of all. So when they leave Sikhi, they're not going to do Sikhi related things majority of the time.
Mm,
Not everyone. There's people who will leave Sikhi, but then they still have, so they won't have the outside, but they have that kind of the inside of, still going to the Gurdwara, still enjoying listening to Kirtan or going to Kirtan Smagams. But then there might be the other half that once they leave Sikhi, they just don't want to do any of it, and they go into the wrong crowd, or they start doing drugs, start drinking, and then they don't. Obviously, they feel like they're not gonna fit into Gatka. But Gatka is for everybody. Like we used to have Gode learning from us in England at one point, And that's okay because it is a martial art. And that brings me on to the other point of when people say play Gatka. Like for me personally, I always say we don't play Gatka, we do Gatka. And the reason I say that is because you only play sports, you play games, right? With martial arts, you don't play martial arts, you do martial arts. And that's one of the things that I always say to people whenever they come up to me and say, oh, tusi Gatka khedna, I'm thinking, as a game khedan lage hain. And it's like, oh yeah, true. And it's true. If we look at it as a game, it's gonna become a game and a joke. We need to look at it as a martial art.
How does it connect you to Sikhi? How does it like, doing Gatka? How does it like, you get connected to Sikhi?
So with some people, they probably won't get connected to Sikhi through Gatka because it's obviously it's about how you look at it. You look at it as a martial art. If you look at it just a martial art, then obviously you might know that it's related to back in the days or gurus or something, but you'll still go and do it as a martial art and nothing else. Like you won't think, but our gurus used to be like this, or the Sengs back in the day used to wear the malle. We should wear the malla. Some people won't think like that. For me, I think people usually join Sikhi through I know a lot of people have joined through basics of Sikhi, listening to their talks, listening to Katha, going to the Gurdwara, doing Sangat of Singniya. But I'd say the right things in singing because sometimes you can be involved with people who you think you'll learn from them, you think you join Sikhi more with them, but you start retaliate and go back. But that's just because those people are not giving off the right vibe. So that's why for me personally, it's important that you do Sikhi for yourself, not for someone else, and don't ever rely on other people to help you through it. And if you are lucky enough to have people to help you through Sikhi and get you through Sikhi and being attached to Maharaj, anything like that, then great, that's amazing. But don't let that be the sole reason that you're into Sikhi, because once you fall and once one day if you are having a bad day and you feel like, oh my god, I can't do this anymore, I don't want to be a Sikh. But if you do it because you did it, you'll never actually fall off that path anyway because you're doing it for you.
I haven't asked this question to like any of my guests, but if you wake up tomorrow and you see that all the things that you had is taken away from you, how would you build your life back? What is a one learning that you would take and then build your life back?
Well, to be honest, there was a point in my life where I felt like everything was taken away from me. Um, but I'm grateful for that. I'm actually today I can say I'm happy that it happened to me, because without the hard times, you don't learn anything. You have no experience of anything. So for me to go through a rough patch when I did, I'm so thankful to God for that, because of that I've become the person I'm today. Because of that, I learned so much about mental health. Because of that, I learned how the mind can bring you anything you want into your life, and how being so true to yourself helps you connect with God. Also, then it's a link, you see. So you have that link to God, and God will bless you with what He thinks you deserve. Right? So if I'm being a crappy person, a bad person, or I'm being a very good person to this person, but then I'm just being horrible to this person, or I've done something unjustified to somebody, and then I'm like, okay, you know what? I really want this job, or I really want this much money, for example. God will not bless you with that. Mark my words. He will not. And even if He does, He will for a little bit, for a little while, and then it's going to be taken away. So that's why it comes back to the whole, love versus hate. That by hating people, where are you going? By loving people, you're going to go far. For sure. You're going to go far for yourself. You're going to go far just in general, for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for everyone and everything, because you're going to be setting that example. So that's why love is
You're
very
right.
important, and hate will just, you're just giving off negative vibes, negative energy. It's draining, and even if
More than anyone else, it's draining for you.
yeah, and you don't realize it in the moment, but you will
Yeah.
eventually when things start to spiral out of control in your life, whether it's a family issue or friendship issue or anything, your job, your career, your money, your finance, anything can be taken away from you at any time, and that's why you need to have fear. Now, I'm not saying be good just so you can have things in life. I'm saying that that's the kind of mentality we should be having, that when you have that thought in your head about loving someone or about talking to someone nicely or helping people, listen to that thought, listen to that feeling. Do not let it go. Do not try and ignore it because someone else is telling you to, or because you want to follow other people. You follow it because that is your sign to be like, do the right thing, and you'll start to eventually love that and love yourself. It's important you love yourself because then you can love others too.